Welcome to day 20 of the Whiskey Tribe sourced Advent Calendar, and today, good news on two fronts. One, first part of good news, we get to drink Balvenie Doublewood. Now you may notice there's hardly anything left in this bottle. As we're doing this Advent Calendar, I'm discovering that there's all these classics that are in this calendar that we're almost out of. And I'm like, geez, might as well. Hallelujah, it's raining. All right, so the other part of the good news is the brand rep, Naomi, for Balvenie Doublewood, actually answered our questions. So I've got some stuff to show you and introduce you to Naomi. So, the thing about Balvenie, especially the Doublewood, is I think it is often underrated. And what I mean by that is it tends to be really well distributed through any decent whiskey bar, even a bar with only a dozen whiskeys. Odds are you'll find a Balvenie Doublewood in that list. It really holds its place well in that kind of slightly sweeter, low peat Scotch, Bayside, low peat Highland direction, right? And so it can get overlooked for the more weird esoteric things. But once again, you come back to it, and damn if it doesn't hold its own. And the thing is, recently I've gotten really into sherry cask whiskey, heavy sherry cask, like Glendronach heavy sherry cask. I was not always down that path. It was too much for me, too sweet, but I'm kind of, I don't know, a switch got flipped and now I kind of dig it. I always loved Balvenie Doublewood because it really threaded that needle between the sweetness of the space I can be, but it leaned more towards the vanillas, which was more my territory. Now, I have an artist that I think this is, and it's a very American artist, but it's because of this deep honey and the shiny crystal clarity of the nose on this. I mean, there is an earthy, slight character to this, but overall it's that shiny honey, very clear as a bell kind of. And what it makes me think of is Alison Krauss, specifically Now That I've Found You. So, baby, now that I've found you, I won't let you go. But that whole album, that like honey dense richness of like the Appalachian bluegrass country, and but with her piercingly high, pristine voice, and but there's still character to it, right? It's all acoustic instruments and her fiddle, and they provide all of this rich sonorous notes. And the finish, ironically, has that lingering malt, musty with a little bit of pepper spice in there. And I love it. So you got to hear Alison Krauss. Now, are you ready? Naomi answered my question. So if you remember, early on, I emailed all the brands for this calendar and asked them if they could send me a representative from the distillery, either a rep or something, who could answer some personal questions so we can get to know the brands a little bit better, the people behind the brands. Because these are whiskeys that have all been reviewed ad nauseum. So I'm not going to be able to add a ton of new stuff to that. But first, it's Naomi Leslie. She's an East Coast ambassador for Balvenie, William Grant & Sons. She said, the first Balvenie I ever tried was the 14-year Caribbean cask. And my question was, what's your favorite, by the way, expression of Balvenie? She said, my first was our 14-year-old Caribbean cask. So that holds a special place in my heart. One thing that always blows me away is that we actually blend the Caribbean rum that seasons the casks ourselves. So they have a hand in the rum that goes into the rum casks they then use. That's pretty amazing. That level of care and attention is very impressive. I totally agree. Number two, I said, what's your favorite place to drink when you're not on the clock? And she said, I adore hosting. So my favorite off-the-clock whiskey spot is my own apartment. I like that. Quite a few of my friends are whiskey fans, so I love having them over for drams and cocktails. That sounds nice. And then number 3, she says, I asked her, how do we follow along on things that you are doing? And she said she keeps her Instagram pretty up to date on her travels to make sure that things are open to the public. She can let you know. You can follow her at rogue_barkeep_Balvenie. I'll put that in the description below. So, Naomi, thank you. And Dave, Allardyce, thank you for reaching out to everybody on your team and your community to get them. That's only a handful of brands actually responded to this, and you guys, Wayne Grant and Sons, you were one of them with both of the things that we've done. So, yeah, baby. Now that I'm found. Yep, that'll do. Thank you, Balvenie. All right, only a few days left, guys. So until tomorrow, may your crazy stay this side of legal, and may you return before we have time to miss you. Cheers.